Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the CHANAKYA Dialogues English. Then the US courts kick in. And then the entire so-called justice system of the West comes into play. How Canada is a liberal place. We're not interested. We're not interested in what Canada is. Somebody did something wrong, take action. End of story. Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the CHANAKYA Dialogues English. Today we have some very exciting and interesting news for you. Tahawwur Rana accused in 26/11. You know, the famous or infamous, I should say, attacks on Mumbai, orchestrated by Pakistan's ISI. Now, Tahawwur Rana has been granted more time by a US court to file motion against extradition. Now, what this means is essentially that Tahawwur Rana has been given more time because he does not want to get extradited to India. And earlier, Rana had appealed before the 9th Circuit Court against the order by a US District Court in the Central District of California that denied the writ of habeas corpus. Again, on Tuesday, a US court agreed to his request to file or some more time to file his motion, which was initially set for October 10th. According to the latest court order, Rana's brief is now due on November 9th, and the government's answer will be due on December 11th, 2023. Earlier on August 18th, the court had granted Rana's motion for a stay of extradition so that his appeal could be heard by the US Court of Appeals. Essentially, you know, David Coleman Headley, Tahawwur Rana, all these guys involved in 26/11. Now, Tahawwur Rana is a Pakistani. Needless to say, that there is no denying that he's a Pakistani. No, we wanted his extradition. And look at how the West functions. So India says, send us this guy. You know, he's involved and we've given you proof. Okay. Our judges are looking into it. Our judges are looking into it. So he files one motion, then he files another motion, then he files a third motion, fourth, fifth. And this will continue. This will continue. Which judge ordered the killing of Osama bin Laden? This is my question to you. Which US judge sentenced Osama bin Laden to death? Why was al-Zawahiri killed? According to which court of law in the US? I'm not saying that killing of Osama bin Laden is bad. You know, I'm not talking about that. Good or bad is something that America has already done. Good for them. General Soleimani was killed in a drone strike, and which judge approved that drone strike? The larger point that I'm trying to make here is that America identifies threats. America neutralizes those threats. But when it comes to its so-called allies, which America says, oh, this is the defining partnership of the 21st century, and you know, there is no more robust partnership than the US and India. But when it actually comes to handing over a terrorist who is directly and indirectly responsible for the death of so many people in the heart of India's financial capital, then the US courts kick in. And then the entire so-called justice system of the West comes into play. And this is exactly what Canada has done, you see. In the Niger killing, now, Niger got killed because of the gang war going on. So they say India did it. India said proof. They said no proof. You know the story, right? But think of it this way. America was attacked 9/11. Canada sent 40,000 troops to Afghanistan. Can you imagine? 40,000 troops to Afghanistan. No sovereignty. No sovereignty, no rule of law, no nothing. We have better manpower, we have better weapons, we have better technology. America is standing by our side. We'll go and wipe out Afghanistan. The rule of the jungle. So the Western countries will always have two rules. One for the white people and one for those who are not so white. And this will continue. This is not something that is, you know, I understand that nations have their priorities and nations work on self-interest. But this is pure lies. This is not self-interest. You know, your courts will protect. Why didn't the courts of the US step in and said that you can't kill Osama bin Laden? Why didn't they say that? They should have said that, no, arrest him, bring him to the US, and we'll try him in a court of law. They didn't say that. Because when Americans die, the earth shakes. Anybody else dies, it doesn't matter. So this is what this tells me, this whole news about Tahawwur Rana. We'll get him here. We'll get him, if not this year, then the next, but we will get him here to India. Amritpal Singh is in Dibrugarh jail. You're all aware that he's in Dibrugarh jail, and Amritpal Singh's mother has been saying that, my son needs to be shifted, and other detainees. I don't know why she has suddenly decided to become a big politician. She should speak for her son. Now she's trying to become, godmother to everybody and say that her name is Balwinder Kaur, and she has said that, she has urged the centre to shift her son and other accused to prisons in Punjab. Why? Why should the government listen to you? I don't hold Amritpal's mother at fault, but I just want to tell her that, gee, you raised a traitor. You raised a traitor. And as they say in English, he's getting his just desserts. You can't dictate to the government where the son should be imprisoned. You're saying that he is not being allowed to meet lawyers. He should be allowed. I mean, the law allows, so why not? Why not? But just come on, think about it. Yeah, think of it. This man does not believe in law, and he wants to meet a lawyer. For what? He wants constitutional protection. The same constitution he does not. He's on record saying that I do not believe in this constitution, and now he wants constitutional protection. I request the government, the central government, to remove him from Assam and send him to Uttar Pradesh. We will teach him everything about the constitution here. And ladies and gentlemen, the Canadian authorities are now trying to reassure Indian students that, listen, please, don't worry. We've got you covered. You're safe in Canada. And why is that? Because India spends 60,000 INR every month, and that goes just from the state of Punjab. 60,000 crore Indian rupees. How much is that? Billions upon billions of dollars. The education industry in Canada has taken over, the aircraft industry has taken over, car manufacturing industry has taken over, the lumber industry in Canada. It's the number one industry, and it is approximately close to 16 billion US dollars, 5.6, 5.7. So round off to 16 billion US dollars worth annual. And this is why Canada is saying that, we need Indian students, and don't worry, Indian students. But I'm saying, did Canada even once? I haven't heard Justin Trudeau condemning what Gurpatwant Singh Pannu said. I haven't heard a strong line of condemnation from Jagmeet Singh. He's saying, don't worry, and these are values of Canada. Stop saying stupid stuff, Jagmeet and Justin Trudeau. Stop saying stupid stuff. Take action. All these homilies that you keep on spouting about how Canada is a liberal place, we are not interested. We are not interested in what Canada is. Somebody did something wrong, take action. End of story. Don't always start and end with a political speech. Do something. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm again going to request Indian parents, whichever religion you may belong to, you may be Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, do not send your child to Canada. By doing so, you're putting your child in harm's way. Canada is a dangerous, dangerous place. And let me tell you, I've been approached by Sikh parents. They're saying that, decent people, hardworking people, professionals. One is a doctor, senior doctor in Delhi. And he's saying, I want to send my kid to study in Canada. But do you think he'll be safe? Do you think Major Sahab, because he's a Sikh and he wears a turban, so do you think the Khalistanis are going to leave him alone? I said, Dr. Sahab, no. They will not leave your son alone, because Khalistanis are against anybody and everybody who does not agree with their philosophy, or whatever goes for their philosophy. It does not matter. They have attacked Sikhs. They have attacked Hindus. They have attacked Muslims. They have attacked Christians. Khalistanis will attack. It's like a rabid dog. A Khalistani is like a rabid dog. He doesn't have any sense. He doesn't see right and wrong. He attacks whoever comes in front. And that is what I told the doctor. Very, very, very senior doctor in New Delhi. And I said, Doctor, do not. There are so many other places where you can send your kid. Do not send your child to Canada, because you will be responsible for putting your child in harm's way. That's what I told the doctor. And this is what I will tell every single Indian parent. Do not put your child in harm's way. Do not send your child to Canada. It's not about the diplomatic relations that India has with Canada. That's not the point. Whatever the state of diplomatic relations, they might get better after 6 months. That is not the point. I'm talking about a clear threat to your child, a threat that has been made in public by these weirdos. And they will go all out and they will try to harm your child. And why would you willingly? It's not about people saying that, the diplomatic relations. It's not about diplomacy. This is about a physical threat. And the Khalistanis, they're lunatics. They could just go and hit somebody in the park. Your child is going to a shopping mall, four Khalistanis come. They've done it at some other location, I think in Australia, someplace they've done it. They just attacked a guy, an Indian student, with a rod. They shoved the rod through his face. Khalistanis will do that. They're crazy people. So there is no point in sending your child to Canada, and the only way is for Canada to suffer financially. As long as they suffer, they'll be all right. And the suffering should start now. And the last thing about Justin Trudeau is apparently the man winged in Parliament. Justin Trudeau has winged in Parliament in full public glare at the Speaker, the new Speaker. He winged at him and then, he bit his tongue between his teeth, and a lot of Canadians are appalled, and they're saying that this is absolute indecency and there is no discipline in the Parliament, and this is our Prime Minister and we are ashamed of being Canadians. My dear Canadian brothers and sisters, I've always told you, Trudeau is a clown. Trudeau remains a clown. He'll forever be a clown. The apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. His father was also like that, right? And Justin Trudeau is an embarrassment to all Canadians, and it's up to you. You put him in power, along with that crook Khalistani terrorist Jagmeet Singh. You put both of them in power. Now it's up to you what you do with these guys. So now, coming to the questions and answers, the first one is from Vishal Aditya. He says, I have a question with respect to the statement of Canada's Defence Minister in the recent death of Nijjar. There is a concern from Canada that India might not purchase weapons, equipment or other defence-related purchases. Also, a second related question to this, are we currently dependent on Canada with respect to any of our defence procurements? Don't remember seeing their names in the latest SIPRI defence spending. No, Canada doesn't produce anything. As far as we are concerned, Canada is useless, right? Some edible items here and there, some wood, something like that. No good thing is coming out of Canada. If you're saying that, does Canada produce A-grade weapons? No, we don't want anything Canadian. We have not bought anything Canadian. We don't have anything Canadian in our armory. We don't need Canada as far as weapons and equipment is concerned. All right. Naveen, Gaurav bhai, vanakkam. Vanakkam, Naveen ji. Big fan of your channel. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Shouldn't India focus resources on building destroyers and medium naval vessels instead of more carriers? Because moving a carrier in open seas takes battle groups, and losing a carrier is greater loss than losing a destroyer. Small navy vessels, what are your thoughts on this? I've had a detailed discussion, with a lot of people, senior people in the Navy. See, I'll tell you two things. A carrier does not move alone. It's a moving city, right? So there are thousands of people inside the carrier, and then there are submarines, there are destroyers. So it's an entire ecosystem that moves. And all I can say is that because there is limited time, there is no better, more powerful projection of national will and national kinetic power than an aircraft carrier. That is the final argument. So it's not a carrier versus a destroyer debate. You need destroyers and you need carriers and you need submarines. Each has a different role, and I think carriers are super important. My only complaint is that I don't know why India is going in again for a 45,000-ton displacement, 45,000-ton displacement aircraft carrier. We should have gone with at least 80,000 or 100,000 displacement. Nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, that is what India should aim for. Because it's not only about protecting, it's about projection of power outside. So I think we need larger aircraft carriers. Deathwing, wow. Hello Gaurav Arya ji, do you think India needs mandatory or voluntary military service for civilians? There seem to be a lot of benefits like greater reserve force if needed, a fitter population physically and mentally, responsible people because of the military culture. No, I don't think it's a good idea, and it can't be done in India simply because the population is so huge that the Indian army will not have the bandwidth. Tomorrow, 30 crore people will come standing, say that take me into the army. And even if you take them for 2 years, the country will go bankrupt. And discipline is not taught by the army. Initial discipline is taught by parents. The values are given by parents. Army just gives you a different perspective of things and trains you in a certain manner for a certain job. Sure, it builds character, but initial character building is done at home by parents. Sending everybody to the army is not a solution. It can't be done. Physically, it cannot be done. Ankit Agarwal. Jain Major Saab. My name is Ankit Agarwal from Raipur. Hello, Ankit ji. Do you think that our acceptance of Chinese noodles into our culture is a threat and a huge win for Chinese soft diplomacy? What are your views? I've also heard that Chinese are dismantling the Gol Gumbaz in China. Gol Gumbaz, I think, in Chinese mosque. Apparently, it does not suit Chinese architecture. Yes, of course, they're doing it. They're changing the Quran. They've rewritten the Quran, and a lot of stuff the Chinese are doing. They're destroying mosques, building it. It shouldn't look like a mosque. It should look like a Chinese structure. Like those slanting walls and the roofs and all that. So that is what they're doing. Yes. And about your acceptance of Chinese noodles into our culture, no, it's not a huge win for Chinese diplomacy, because if you eat Indian Chinese food, the Chinese will not recognize Indian Chinese food as Chinese. And if you and I go to China, I've been to China a couple of times, and if you eat their Chinese food, the Chinese food made by Chinese in China, trust me, you'll end up puking. I don't know what they do. Anyway, it's their food. But no, there is no danger. There is no soft part. It's good. We've taken noodles, we have adapted it, right? And we've made it into our own. And any Chinese who eats Indian Chinese food will not recognize it as Chinese food, unless he's eating at a very, very high sort of style restaurant with a Chinese chef or something like that. He may not recognize it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you liked this video. If you did, press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.